Hello, fictional. Welcome to the Fiction Series X. Today we are gonna see, what if Issei was the Cosmic Dragon Emperor? Part 1. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Slam, please what are you doing, stop. Please, pleaded Mr. Hyoudou. The person with black bird wings laughed at this as he stabbed Mr. Hyoudou continuously. Red eyes stared at horrified brown ones. A smirk on the figure's face. He continued to slam Mr. Hyoudou on the floor. Oh yes, you humans truly are entertaining. Give me more pleasure than your wife ever did, said this being. Lord Kokabeel, said another man, finishing his final round with the body of Mr. Hyoudou's wife. Can we kill him already? His wife was rather boring. She's less tight than the fallen angels at home. This being was bored out of his mind and was slowly regretting coming here, as he only wanted to relieve himself. The fallen at the base he was in that he raped every day were better. Donasik, be quiet, said the now identified Kokabeel, who was now looking at Mr. Hyoudou. Where's your son? Please spare my son, anything, Mr. Hyoudou pleaded. He was interrupted when a small boy, aged 10, ran in terrified as he woke up hearing screams. Dad, what's going on? Exclaimed a small boy. He immediately screamed when he saw someone on his mom and the red-eyed being who looked at him. He then looked at the father and said, "Ah ha ha ha," now died pathetic being. And no, as Mr. Hyoudou yelled, but was pummeled by a light spear. His dead body, no disfigured body. Kokabeel looked down at Issei and grinned. However, this grin was sadistic-like. He looked at another fallen angel having fun with Issei's mom. Soren, kill this boy. I have other business to attend. Dohansik also has to relieve himself of better girls, ahaha. Do try to make this fast. Azazel needs you for interrogation or whatever, said Kokabeel, who then smirked at Issei. Sorry. Issei, was it? You hold something dangerous and I must take some precautions, ha 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 ha, laughed Kokabeel. And with that, Kokabeel and Donasik left Soren and Issei together, both unveiling their wings and taking off. Soren looked at Issei with a face of boredom, as if he has done this before. Sighing, he created a light spear, aimed at Issei, not noticing how the boy changed, another job done, and threw it, impaling Issei straight in the chest. He turned his back to leave, but he stopped hearing something. Galactic spear! Just before Soren impales Issei. No, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Dad, thought Issei. I was too weak to protect you guys. At least we will see each other soon. Tears streaming down his face. Not yet. You will not die today, Issei Hyoudou, said a female voice. What, who's there? Issei exclaimed in his head. He looked around and only saw the gleaming eyes of Kokabeel, Donasik and Soren. My name I will reveal to you soon. But do you need power? But what will you do with this power, said the voice. Issei's eyes turned purple with power. I will destroy them. I will avenge my parents, Issei told this voice. His body was suddenly being enveloped with a purple and black light, like certain nebulas in space. His hand then reached out as if to grab something. I will annihilate them. Now say the weapon you are to summon. Say it, commanded the voice. Galactic spear! Back to present, Issei's hand suddenly appeared with a spear. A purplish-black spear soaring with cosmic energy. Suddenly it spiked, pushing Soren, who had a surprised face. His light spear that was impaled in Issei suddenly was enveloped by the cosmic energy, as if it was absorbing it. He looked at Issei and exclaimed, So you've unlocked your scared gear. I've never seen or read about this. No matter, you are to die today. Soren produced another light spear, this time bigger and longer, and threw it at Issei. Issei, however, stood there. Soren, seeing this, smirked, and was about to fly away when he heard, Gravity! Soren turned and looked at Issei. Issei again absorbed the light spear. No, he wasn't absorbing it, his sacred gear was. Issei suddenly lifted up his spear and aimed it at Soren. Infinite Cosmos. Suddenly a light spear appeared out of a magic circle above Issei's head. Soren looked on as he soon realized too late that it was his light spear. It suddenly lunged at Soren, who was killed instantly on impact. Soren couldn't even perceive the spear moving as it was too fast, near instant. Sorry, Issei, that last attack, the gravity, and infinite cosmos, as well as me taking partial control, used up too much of your life force. It was too much power for you to handle," said the voice. Saddened to see a boy losing his life so young. Suddenly a bright magic circle appeared and summoned a certain fallen with yellow bangs. "Ha, is that you? I guess the story was right. The cosmic dragon is indeed alive. And no doubt a sacred gear," said the man. He was then disgusted to see a woman clearly raped, judging by the overflowing liquid from her mouth and lower regions, as well as a tortured and impaled man with multiple wounds. "Azazel, what do you want?" said the female voice. She was irritated as Azazel was the leader of the fallen angels and they just murdered her host's parents. Issei was pissed and was about to use his spear again, but instantly fell down, coughing up blood, remembering he had no more strength. "Relax, I didn't send those fallen angels. They went rogue, and when I heard about them in HQ going here, I came over as fast as possible. I guess I was too late." "Damn it," replied Azazel. Suddenly an idea popped into his head. He instantly went to Issei and bent down. He looked at him with a sad and hopeful face and said, "I can make you live again, but as one of the fallen. I know what my kind did to you, but maybe I can right those wrongs. Your parents wouldn't want you to die this early. Let me do this." Issei, too weak to even think, went limp and apologized to his parents for not helping them. "Beep," said Azazel. "Ah, screw this." He then made a magic circle and it enveloped around Issei. "Come on, kid, live." "Azazel, your magic isn't working, probably because he used too much of my power," said the voice, making Azazel curse. "But I will help. I will make him part dragon with your help. I can't by myself, but with your immense magic power, I can do this." Both Azazel and the voice then concentrated on Issei, resurrecting him. Issei was then lifted and was covered in purple, black and yellow energy. The purple and black from the voice and the yellow from Azazel. After a couple of seconds, Issei fell down with a thump. Azazel quickly checked for a pulse, anything, and then felt it. The faint but present pulse. I'm alive?" exclaimed Issei. He looked at his spear as it suddenly was pulsing. "Yes, Azazel, and I made you into a 25% fallen angel, 25% dragon, and 50% human," said the voice. Issei then looked at his parents and asked, "Can you revive them?" He looked happy but was then sad as Azazel replied, "Normally I could, but it's too late. They were dead for too long. I'm sorry, Issei. And you can't live here anymore." Issei was saddened but then asked, "Where do I go then?" He wasn't that trusting of Azazel, but considering on how he said the fallen angels were rogue and how he helped to revive him, he was closing in on trusting him. "The Grigori, most if not all the fallen angels live there. I will make you feel like home. Don't worry, we will bury your parents." "How's that, Issei, was it?" replied Azazel. Issei, taking one last look at his parents, who was sad but now with a new fire in his eyes, said, "Yes, I will live for my parents, and I will not disappoint them. I will show them that they didn't die in vain." Azazel nodded and with a magic circle took the bodies of Mr. and Mrs. Hyoudou and buried them, with Issei watching, in the backyard. He then teleported himself, Issei and the spear, back to his room in the Grigori. Azazel asked Issei about how he was so trusting of him, even thought his kind killed his family. "Dad always told me about there are good and bad people, even those who are your own race. It's better to not judge other people just because one of them is bad," replied Issei. "I never understood what he meant, but now I think I do. And I will live for them. I will make them proud of the man that I will become." "Good, Issei, you really are becoming more worthy of my power," said the voice. Issei looked at the spear and asked, "Who are you?" Azazel popped his mouth open, but the voice said, "I got this, Azazel. I am Nebula, heavenly dragon of the cosmos, and I am your sacred gear, Galaxy's End." "Oh, hi there, Nebula. I'm feeling really tired," Rig said Issei before fainting. Azazel looked at Issei, amused at how he was taking this in so well, him being a fallen angel, an angel who has fallen, as well as Nebula, the cosmic heavenly emperor who in legends was the first ever heavenly dragon. However, people assumed she never existed as there were never any sightings, but Azazel and other faction leaders knew of her existence. Normally heavenly dragons should be on par with God, but Nebula was a whole other beast. She could destroy both Drake and Albion in mere minutes. During the last Great War she wasn't present at all, which prompted Azazel to look at the spear and ask, Nebula, I got a question. Is it about me being absent during the Great War and such? Asked Nebula before continuing after Azazel said yes. It's complicated. Unlike those idiots Albion and Drake, I had no interest in fighting those in my brood. Anyways, I was away from this Earth dash. Wait, you're telling me that you were in outer space? Exclaimed Azazel. Nebula puffed and told Azazel, it's in the name, you stupid crow. In the cosmos, I had a strong enemy. I was fighting it, and my only other two hosts were fighting it. I don't know how or why God has made it into a sacred gear, but if this evil were unleashed, it would cause deadly effects on this earth. I was turned into a spear because God wanted me to be an actual weapon to fight my enemy. So let me get this straight, you weren't seen since the Great War because you were fighting an extraterrestrial enemy, someone so strong they defeated you and became a sacred gear like yourself? Questioned Azazel. He was baffled as Nebula, a being some say surpassed God, was defeated by an unknown threat, but something particular hit Azazel, who asked, wait, only two hosts? Yes, unfortunately my power is way too powerful for anyone to use. Normally, even if someone used one of my abilities like gravity, they would die after they used it. This boy somehow used two of my abilities at the age of 10 and survived for a few moments. I don't know how, but I might be able to explain why. But yes, I only had two hosts. They were only strong enough to contain me for a small amount of time, but they were able to master some of my power, as they were only human. However, as Issei is part fallen and dragon, he will become my strongest host, said Nebula. She was clearly beginning to get more fond of the boy, as he was the third person that could actually hold a conversation with her. Wait, then explain the why, said Azazel. He already had a feeling why, but he needed Nebula to confirm it. Maybe my nemesis is out there in another strong host right now, and the cosmos has willed this boy to live, intertwining our fates, replied Nebula. She was worried, as when her only two hosts fought her nemesis, entire areas were decimated and both of her host and the other's host would perish. Only one event was documented by the humans, the Phoenix Lights, where her second host fought valiantly against her enemy. Both died, but it was a powerful fight that almost destroyed Phoenix, but it was a good thing someone made a barrier just in time. This someone, only time will tell. Okay, but who's this nemesis? Asked Azazel. I don't know if you've heard of this name, but my nemesis is called Force. Ugh, I feel so tired, said Issei, who has just woken up. He then remembered the events that happened and looked around and saw Azazel talking with his spear. Azazel then looked over at Issei and saw him awake. Upon this, he rushed over and checked his vitals, sighing in relief upon everything checking out. Azazel then told Issei, we're going to train you, Issei. Hell, some are hybrids. What do you say then? Issei looked at Azazel and realized that if he were to stop other people from hurting people like his parents, he'll have to train to grow strong. With a strong voice he replied, train me. Azazel, upon hearing this, grinned and told Issei who was to train him. Listen, I will train you to my best ability on magic and such. As on the cosmic part of your abilities, Nebula here will do her best even though she's only a spear, laughed Azazel, who quickly shut his mouth after hearing Nebula growling, I dare you to say that one more time. Issei's sweat dropped at this but continued to listen to Azazel. Anyways, a fellow dragon will train you, she was a close friend to Nebula. Name's Tiamat. You idiot, she's not my friend. She's my only offspring, my daughter. Wait, I thought you were a virgin, laughed out Azazel. You're dead. No, I fell in love with another dragon in amidst of the other two dragons fighting. They were fighting over who had the rights to claim you. Well, that's a lost cause for them, ahahaha, laughed Azazel. Anyways, Tiamat will train you in dragon powers, I will enhance your magical abilities, and Nebula will train you in sacred arts of the cosmos. That last part sounded like sarcasm, but Nebula didn't pay attention. Issei, who was looking at a corner, asked, who's there? Azazel, bemused, said, hey Valiana, you can come out. Out came a girl, who was the same age as Issei. She looked nervous, but to Issei, she was the most beautiful girl he's ever seen. Her white silver hair, her blue eyes. It screamed beautiful. He immediately blushed. Valiana asked, who are you? I'm Issei. Issei Hyoudou. What's yours? Responded Issei, who had a cheeky grin. Valiana blushed as no other boy or girl talked with her. "I'm Valiana Lucifer. Please call me Vala," said Vala. Suddenly a pair of blue wings sprout from Vala's back. Upon seeing the spear, "Nebula! You're alive! How are you doing? You wanna hang out?" said the voice from the wings. "Spare me, Albion. This here is my host. He will become the strongest one, and is only my third host," said Nebula. "As expected of you, the hot strongest female dragon," said Albion. Azazel laughed at this and said, "Too late, Issei has already been claimed." "Who dare? Did Dre get his mini beat to you?" "Where is that red loser?" roared out Albion. "This is exactly why I didn't choose any of you two. My mate is long dead now, killed by my enemy." "Wait, you have an enemy?" asked both Issei and Vala, who both blushed at this. They blushed even harder, even glancing at each other. Azazel wrote this down for future purposes. "Yes, I do," said Nebula, who repeated what she told Azazel. "This force and entity, I will make them vanish for you." "Maybe then you will," said Albion, who then laughed. "Anyway, is this Valiana Lucifer going to train with us?" "Only when I'm training you," responded Azazel. Issei pouted at this, and when he saw Vala pout too, he blushed. Vala, seeing this, also blushed. Azazel, seeing both, laughed. "Don't worry, lovebirds, you will have plenty of time together in the future." "We are not lovebirds!" exclaimed both Vala and Issei. Azazel laughed at this, and Nebula sighed at this, while Albion was continuing to try to talk with Nebula. "Nebula! Did you hear the tales of?" shouted Albion. "But I will annihilate you." And so began Issei's training to becoming the strongest cosmic dragon emperor. In another area, full of darkness and barely any light from any of the available suns, was a being floating. "So he has finally awakened," said this being. "Ah yes, it seems she has chosen a host finally," said a deep voice. "Hopefully he's strong. I need a good fight, and blowing up planets has gotten so boring," the being thought before blowing up another planet. After 1 month of training, "Come on, Issei. Concentrate on the spear." "I am," said Issei, who was frustrated. "You got this, Issei," Vala shouted. "Do this and I will kiss you." "A what?" Issei asked. Vala intensively blushed and said, "I will kiss you on the cheek." Nebula, hearing this, quickly took advantage of the situation. "Issei, do you love this girl?" I mean, I think. "You think or you know?" "I don't know. I've only met her for a month," said Issei. "Do you want to protect her?" "Yes. I don't want her to end up in the same fate as my parents," exclaimed Issei. Suddenly he was enveloped in an array of purple and black lights. "I will protect her." "Then concentrate." Issei, with newfound determination, concentrated and finally swung his spear with cosmic energy. Galactic downfall. With a swing downwards, Issei slammed it down. A loud boom was heard. When the spear slammed into the ground, he had made an 8-foot crater. Issei, looking up, saw the destruction he had created. He was amazed at how much damage he did. Azazel, who came instantly hearing a loud bang, cries comically seeing the area destroyed. "Why? Why me?" he comically thought. "Good, now Azazel, throw your light spear at Issei. Trust me on this 1 foot." "Wait, why?" said Azazel. Vala stood there confused and very worried for Issei's well-being. "Trust me." Fine," said Azazel before throwing a decent light spear at Issei. "Now Issei." Issei nodded and with no words used his spear. Gravity. The light spear suddenly was absorbed by Issei's spear. Galactic downfall. Issei swung his spear again and slammed it like he did last time, but however, this time there was more destruction and there was oddly light present. Azazel and Vala were both amazed at what had happened. Azazel theorized, "Wait, does gravity take someone's attack and amplifies it to boost one of your attacks?" "Yes, it does. It also takes the original power of the attack, so if it was a light spear, it would be light. My other ability, Infinite Cosmos, takes the absorbed power and makes it twice the strength before sending it back to the opponent. It's kind of like Divine Dividing and Boosted Gear, where Issei takes their power and doubles it. However, the only cost is the amount of power he can take. Too much, and he is out like he is right now," said Nebula. Azazel looked at Issei, who fainted while holding his spear. He laughed and said, "Guess we need to amp the training then, don't we, Nebula?" Vali, who was amazed at the whole thing, had her divine dividing wings unfurled. As expected of the best female dragon, our babies would have been legendary. Shut your goddamn mouth, Albion. There are children here, but my host wants your host, hee. Vali immediately blushed and was about to retaliate when a certain blue dragon dove down and slammed next to Issei. "Mother! Azazel was right!" exclaimed the said blue dragon. "Yes, I am alive, Tiamat. Now could you please not try to stomp on my host? I rather have him alive, especially now." "Yes, mother," said the dragon. "Great! You're here now, Tiamat!" Azazel exclaimed. Tiamat looked at him and ignored him, more interested in her mother. "I need you to train?" "Yeah, I kinda got the memo when you sent your fallen to my territory," said Tiamat. She obviously wanted to train her mother's host as it could help her get closer with her mother. "Awesome, now I need to take him to rest," Azazel said. He took Issei to his room to rest. Tiamat immediately went inside and slept next to him. Azazel asked what she was doing, and Tiamat said how she wanted to get closer to her mother. Vali, watching all of this, became jealous. "Vali, you want Issei? If you do, train to get stronger so Issei can notice you." Vali nodded with motivation, and Azazel saw this. He smiled and thought, I guess the future will be unknown. Well, I'll try my best. "Azazel, why were you crying at the area destroyed?" asked Nebula, who thought the area held some of Azazel buried treasure, so to speak. That's a bit complicated," said Azazel, who was slowly creeping out of the room. "I will say this once. No perverted material near Issei. You got that?" "Yes, of course. In another area of cosmic darkness far, far away from Earth." "Say, Force, can I send your agent to him?" asked this figure. I want to test her new host's strength." "Yeah, go ahead, send my agent," said Force. The figure said, "Summon Darth Bane." Darth Bane, and being known mainly for his muscular build and unique Force abilities and always by his ominous yellow eyes, asked, "Yes, Lord D." "Alright, I ain't no lord. I'm an emperor. Emperor of the cosmos after I finally eliminate Nebula," interrupted the figure. "Now go to Earth and see if you can kill anyone close to the new host of Nebula. I want to see this kid suffer before I utterly destroy him. I will make him think he'll get stronger before I decimate him, after 1 year of training." "Hey Barakiel, you have to go again?" asked a now 11 Issei. "Yeah, I have to take care of my daughter. You should meet her someday," said Barakiel. Issei pondered on this thought before responding, "Someday when I'm stronger." Of course," said Barakiel. "Alright, see you soon, Issei." And with that he left with a bright magic circle. Issei. I finally achieved Balance Breaker." Issei turned around to see the owner of the voice, Vali. "Congrats," said Issei. He still hasn't been able to achieve his own Balance Breaker. Vali saw him being down and tried to comfort him. "Hey, it's okay. I'm sure you will get it some." Stab shock. "No, Vali," said Issei, horrified at what just happened. Out of nowhere, a red light sword stabbed Vali right in the chest, and lighting was shocked into her. This was done by a man that seemingly fell down out of nowhere. "Vali. No, don't die. Please. Don't leave me." "Vali." Vali's hand gripped Issei's and she whispered to him, "I'm sorry, Issei." She coughed up blood and said, "I love you, Issei." And with that, Vali went limp, angering Issei to the point of no return. "So this is what my Emperor's enemy is? A weak boy who hasn't unlocked Balance Breaker. Pathetic child," said a voice belonging to Darth Bane. "Don't worry, I didn't kill her, I merely made her suffer enough injuries so that she will die in the next 10 minutes with the worst pain imaginable," finished Darth Bane, who continuously casted his lighting on Vali, causing her to scream again in agony before falling limp. "You bastard," yelled out Issei, whose voice was merging with Nebula's. "Darth Bane, loyal hound to Force, you will die today in the most gruesome way possible." Issei, who was in a trance, started screaming in anger when suddenly, Cosmic Dragon Balance Breaker. Issei was covered in black and purple armor with wings, A/N. The armor is inspired by the Supreme Bahamut Dragon from a deleted game, Social Empires. The armor is black, but the yellow is replaced by purple. The wings will be black, purple, orange respectively in that order up to down, replacing the colors of the original wings. While wielding his spear, which became longer and sharper with cosmic energy surging through the blade. The armor was also encircled with black and purple energy waves, like the rings of Saturn, covering his entire body. His purple lenses that covered his eyes suddenly looked at Darth Bane, who flinched for a bit. Arrgggg yelled out both Issei and Nebula. Vali, the dragon, the galactic, purple cosmic energy starts to swirl around Issei's wings, making them longer and sharper. The ruler of the everlasting cosmos. Orange energy starts to transcend through the armor, changing it to become more of a dragon. I surpassed the heavenly title. Black energy envelopes Issei's arms, causing long spikes to appear, and became the ascended. The black energy swirls through Issei's hands, causing claws to grow. I hold the infinite and mastered the dream. Suddenly a blue energy appears and turns Issei's neck and face into more of a dragon. I am the cosmic dragon of Ascension. All of the energies converge throughout his body, transforming his final parts into a true dragon-like being. And I shall annihilate all that oppose me and decimate them into the everlasting cosmos. Issei roars out, but it isn't human-like or dragon-like, more like that of a hybrid between the two. Cosmic Dragon Ascension Mode. Issei took off, going up and up till he reached the stars. With one glance at the area where he was going to dive. Cosmic Extinction. And with that, Issei dove swirling and swirling, becoming like a comet. A comet moving so fast that no one in the world could notice. Issei kept on diving, aiming for Darth Bane, and with a loud roar he hit someone or some figure. Ah, so you've ascended, finally? But you are not to kill him today. Bane, get up. You've done good, now retreat back to base, said this figure. Darth Bane nodded and disappeared with a flash of light. The figure then looked at Issei and hit him with one of his abilities. Dark Sphere. Issei roared with pain. The sphere of pure dark energy hit Issei dead on in the chest. He started to thrash and tried to hit the figure, who evaded with ease. The figure yawned. How am I going to have fun with you when you're so weak? To the figure, Issei was like an ant. Cosmic Downfall. With that, Issei created a spear out of pure energy and slammed it downwards at the figure, who used antimatter to counter. The result pushed Issei back up to the stratosphere, where the figure used another ability, this one more dangerous. Deconstructing Dive. Issei took the hit, the dive, as he and the figure dived to the earth below, slamming down at an unknown island. The figure then felt several spikes in aura and decided to leave, as he gleefully thought of what they would do to Issei. After all, he was quite curious as how this world's strongest would respond to something like this. The other worlds he destroyed had strong beings, but were too boring for him. Sighing, the figure said, Get stronger, child. At this point, I will die of boredom. Issei continued to thrash, but eventually failed, as the previous attack was too strong for him to handle. His armor started to deconstruct, resulting in him returning to base form. He started to bleed from everywhere. Then all around him, magic circles for every pantheon appeared, causing the figure to grin and say, That's my cue, maybe this world will be more fun, and disappeared into a dark hole. Out of the magic circles came all the pantheon leaders. Azazel, seeing Issei, screamed, Issei, my boy, wake up. He continued to hug Issei and tried to heal him, seeing how it didn't work. He saw Cerzex, the devil leader, and asked for phoenix tears quickly. The devil nodded and teleported to get some, which he quickly gave to the boy. However, Issei still wasn't healing. Azazel, seeing this, panicked and begged for anyone to heal the boy. Barakiel tried to comfort his friend but failed, as he and Azazel both started to tear up. Boom! Explosions were happening, but no one could see where they were until they set their sights on Issei. Many explosions were happening around him. Orange, purple, blue and black lights and energies were orbiting around Issei and slowly healing his body. After moments of silence and awe, Issei returned to full health. Azazel asked Nebula, Is this you? The galactic spear that was the only thing Issei was holding after he was knocked out of his ascension mode responded, Yes, I healed his body using my cosmic energy. Azazel was about to rejoice, saying how it's a miracle, however. This comes at a huge price. Ever heard of the law of conservation of energy? In order for me to heal his body from an attack by my nemesis, I had to substitute his life force to heal him. Think of it as taking his life force to heal himself. It wasn't that much, but because of a mode similar to Juggernaut Drive as well as him being 11 and using some of my strongest abilities, he won't live for that long. Give or take 5 years at best. Azazel looked horrified at this situation as he couldn't believe a young and innocent boy was going to die at 16. I'm sorry, Azazel, but he used too much so early. Azazel painfully understood and hugged the boy close to his chest and prepared to teleport away before turning around and saying, I'll talk about this with you guys soon, and left. Upon reaching the medical division of the Grigori, he heard sudden commotion. I need EKGs and MRI ordered stat. Valiana is undergoing some sort of reaction. Azazel, hearing this, rushed to the nearest Fallen and asked what happened. The Fallen explained the events that happened: Darth Bane, the figure, Issei's Ascension mode, and Vala's injuries. The Fallen assured Azazel she were to live, as they were lucky that the figure stopped Darth Bane from ending Vala's life. Azazel felt decent, but he couldn't concentrate. Too many things happened today, and he really needed a break. Azazel, Barakiel is here to see you and he's a mess right now, said a female fallen angel. What happened, Penemu? Asked Azazel, who couldn't really take any more bad news. Shuri, she's dead, Azazel. My baby Akino is also dead. Azazel, what do I do? Cried out Barakiel. Azazel was too shocked. First, his daughter-like figure is on a life-threatening crisis. His son-like figure barely any more life force, and now, his friend's family killed. Azazel fainted hearing and thinking about what has happened. The next day, Azazel went to Issei's room to try to find answers as to what had happened. Azazel, you are probably wondering what has happened yesterday. I'll tell you. Yesterday, an agent of Force came and almost killed Vala. I don't know why, but it affected Issei greatly. He felt too much negativity and anger that he unlocked Balance Breaker. However, he was too angry and was too dark that Ascension mode was unlocked. It's similar to Juggernaut Drive, but it's more powerful. My user doesn't sink into madness. No, they have one clear goal in their mind, and in all cases, it's to kill someone. And that goal won't happen unless that someone was ordered by someone else, in which case, Issei will target that person. The mode won't stop until Issei is either knocked out, or if the target is dead. Or the worst one, he dies. Said Nebula. What's happening to him right now? Why isn't he awake right now? Asked Azazel, who was insanely worried. Like I said, energy. He used up too much, and is now trying to replenish. As for him not being awake, it's 2 reasons. It's energy and another factor. He's talking with my other 2 hosts, inside Issei's mind. Where am I? Said Issei. He couldn't see anything, only darkness. Well, we're in your mind. Said someone. Wow, can't be more obvious. Said someone else. Well, I suppose you want to say how we are in somewhere random in space? Said the first person, who was slowly appearing. Well, I can't wait to, as I would have been a master. Said the second being, who was also starting to appear. Well, yes, at least you're a master at being second, said the first being. Ha ha ha, just because you're the first doesn't mean you're the best. Said the second being. Wait, what's going on? My mind? Hosts? Master? What's happening? Asked a confused Issei. Ah, how could I forget, dear Issei, we are in your mind. Said the first figure, who was really clear to Issei now. He had auburn hair and a beard. He also has blue eyes. Yes, and we must teach you the ways of the cosmos, said the second figure, who was becoming more clear as well. The figure had blonde hair and blue eyes. Who are you guys? Asked Issei. Are you guys the other hosts? My, this one is sharp. I like that. Well, anyways, pleasantries aside, I am Anakin Skywalker. The other one is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Said the second figure, now Anakin. Hello there, said Obi-Wan. We have much to discuss. Azazel suddenly woke up when he heard a grunt from Issei. He rushed to Issei, who sat up and looked at Azazel. I'm sorry, said Issei. Azazel burst up in tears and hugged Issei. It's okay, Issei, it's okay. Is. Vala okay? Asked Issei. Azazel nodded and Issei sighed in relief. Issei, I need to tell you something. Started Azazel. That I only have 5 years? Yeah, I got that. The previous host told me. Finished Issei. Can I see Vala? Azazel shook his head. Vali isn't at the Grigori anymore, she's traveling the world with her trainers. She wanted me to let her train with various pool across the world so that she could be strong for you. Then with a lecherous face, Azazel said she told you to not cheat on her with anyone, before laughing out loud. Azazel? Yes, ma'am. I definitely didn't have the idea of sending some hot female fallen angels over here to spend some time with Issei. Azazel quickly said while sweating. Hey Issei, point your spear at Azazel will you, my dear? Said Nebula in a sweet voice. Both Azazel and Issei felt scared. Okay. I won't give him any lecherous thoughts. Spare me, please. Azazel pleaded to Nebula, who puffed and said, Fine. Azazel, can you seriously up the training? I really need it, said Issei. He was seriously destroyed by the figure who was confirmed to be his arch nemesis, and he needed to train to defeat this mysterious figure. He didn't want anyone else to suffer, especially Vali, who he loved with all his heart. Azazel quickly understood, and Nebula also put in her 2 cents. The other 2 hosts will also help you with your abilities and unlock new ones. With my power, you get some abilities and the rest are you making it. Channel your cosmic energy into certain attacks, and some will become new attacks. Also my cosmic abilities. Issei nodded and heard 2 voices in his head. Yes, don't worry Issei, I will train you, said Obi-Wan. Hey, what do you mean it's supposed to be we, said Anakin. Yes, well, when you're the master you can train, said Obi-Wan. Well, how can I be a master if I don't? Anakin was about to finish when Issei cut off the link. So when do we being? Asked Issei. Well, I was thinking now, Azazel said, grinning. Bring it, said Issei, who also grinned. Boys, said Nebula, seeing Azazel and Issei's antics as well as Obi-Wan and Anakin. Somewhere in the dimensional gap asterisk. Damn, the new host is really weak. I should let him train, but it's a shame he's going to die in 5 years, said a figure. Of course, Nebula was always weak. Che, said Force. Indeed, the previous host was weak as well. They believe they have rid me, but they've only rid my pawn the sun, was it? I don't even care he was so weak, said the figure. You shouldn't remember a weakling like him nor the past host of Nebula. They couldn't even handle 50% of your true power. Indeed, what a shame. What's more is I can't destroy this world. Great Red seems to be guarding it from me, said the figure. The real reason he was here was to find the Red Dragon. Great Red was the strongest in the universe, and the figure was ranked 3rd just below Ophis. The Celestials, of course, are the strongest, but they can't interfere with our affairs. A large red blast suddenly hit the figure. Oof, Great Red. Seriously, is this how you greet your student? Said the figure. You are no student of mine. You have 1 second to leave before I obliterate you, said Great Red, was growling at the sight of his previous student and supposedly successor. Come on, Great Red, a fight between you and me will destroy planets, and I love that. You really want that? The figure smirked. What do you want? Hissed out Great Red. Rather simple, Great Red. Force, growled Great Red. I will destroy you right now. He was charging up his strongest attack, but the figure simply said, Hey, Red, chill out. Listen, they're planning on releasing Trihexa. Those people on Earth. Let them, she can't even harm me. And why do you even care? Trihexa is practically Force's sister, questioned Great Red, who stopped his attack as he was very curious. He was also worried, as Trihexa was as strong as himself. While she is my sister, her destructive tendencies are not, let's say, appropriate. Exactly, if she destroys everything, I would have nothing to do. So I help you defeat Trihexa no cost. How's that? Said the figure. What makes you think I can't defeat her myself? Asked Great Red. Simple, it'll destroy the universe if you fight her yourself. The figure responded. If we fight together, some planets will be destroyed, but at least the universe will stay intact. What's your endgame? What is it that you want? Jezeth? It's darkened now. Jezeth is dead. I killed him. And there is no endgame. You can't even look into my dreams, as Force blocks your influence, so you'll just have to trust me, replied Darkin. Fine. Darkin. You have a deal. said Great Red, who was still very wary of Jezeth, no Darkin. Unbeknownst to Great Red was the evil smirk upon Darkin's lips. Now swing the spear! Issei did as he was told, swinging his spear, hitting Azazel's light sword. Azazel grinned at this and struck back, summoning more light spears and throwing them at the now 13-year-old Issei. Issei, seeing the amount of light spears, swung his spear around and tried to deflect and dodge most of the light spears. Some scraped him, but he ignored the pain and concentrated on Azazel. Twisting his body mid-air, he called out, "Wormhole!" He instantly vanished and Azazel couldn't tell where Issei was, not being able to sense Issei, as if Issei just disappeared. Then he felt pain in his back as a cosmic spear was slammed into him. "OF!" exclaimed Azazel. He was intrigued in this new ability that Issei never talked to him about. An ability that allowed him to teleport and hide his presence was quite powerful in the COR. He stopped his chain of thought as he saw Issei charge up his spear before Nebula exclaimed, "Galactic downfall." Azazel knew of Issei's seemingly signature move as Issei suddenly leaped and slammed onto Azazel, who had another light spear out, and countered. A bright array of cosmic energy and light suddenly engulfed the training area, sending both Azazel and Issei back. Both were standing, however, with grins on their face. Issei was about to charge at Azazel again before a certain fallen angel Issei had met last year emerged and told Azazel something. "Lord Azazel, you have a meeting with Michael and Serzex about Issei." At the mention of Issei, she blushed and glanced at Issei, who was too busy staring off into space. In Issei's mind, "Well, I guess I could have done better," said Issei. "Oh, cheer up, you did good. You were able to stand toe-to-toe with a being mentioned in the Bible," said Anakin. "Yes, enjoy this moment. You will only get stronger," said Obi-Wan. "Thanks you guys, but the guy 2 years ago, the man that destroyed me in my Ascension mode, he sent that Bane guy to kill Vali. I have to get stronger. I can't let that happen to her again," responded Issei. "It's important to get strong for your loved ones, yes, but don't let that cloud your judgment. Believe me, I've been there," said Anakin, who was in a face of regret. A/N. I hope some Star Wars fans know of this wink wink. "I think Azazel is calling out to you, Issei," Obi-Wan mentioned. Issei nodded and went back to the world around him. Outside of Issei's mind, "So Issei, we will have to hold our spar till later. Right now Rainier has just informed me of a meeting I have to attend," said Azazel. Issei looked over at Rainier and greeted her, at which Rainier quickly blushed. Issei, of course, didn't notice this as he only had feelings for one silver-haired girl, but who knows, his heart might open to others, but not for now. "Okay, I guess I'll go back to my room then," said Issei, who turned away and dissipated his balance breaker and was beginning to walk away when Azazel suddenly spoke up. "You, Rainier, escort him please." Issei looked questioningly at this and Rainier stammered out a yes. Issei was very confused at this as he could walk back on his own, but he complied anyways. "Alright, let's go, Rainier," said Issei. He had met Rainier last year when he was sparring with Azazel. That was when Issei came up with a new attack called Roar of the Cosmos, which allowed him to slightly injure Azazel, which was amazing to Rainier, as no one in the Grigori except for the cadres and certain fallen were even able to scratch Azazel, much less a 12-year-old boy. However, this 12 boy became someone special to her, as she felt drawn to such a boy. The power he demonstrated made her develop feelings. That and his kind-hearted soul really pushed her high over heels for Issei. Then maybe, just maybe, Issei will love. "So how's life, Rainier?" asked Issei, snapping Rainier out of her perverted thoughts. "I've been training," yelled out Rainier, whose face turned red at realizing how loud she screamed and how enthusiastic she sounded. Issei laughed at this. "Nice?" Rainier blushed even harder at Issei's laugh. Issei was one of the handsomest person she's ever met, and seeing him laugh is something many female fallen would kill to see. They then reached Issei's room, in which he soon walked in, but not before noticing Rainier was still there. He gave her a thanks, and she quickly yelped and ran away. Issei didn't mind what just happened, causing Nebula, Obi-Wan, and Anakin to shake their heads. Issei went into his room, as it wasn't that lavish. A simple bedroom with a large king bed in the side, his books on the other for studying and schoolwork, his computer on his bed's side, and was rather ordinary. He sat down on his bed and went back into his mindscape. In Issei's mind. "So what's new?" asked Issei. Well, Anakin and I have decided to show you a new move you might be able to use. First, said Obi-Wan. Hey, since when did you get involved? I'm pretty sure I thought of it first, said Anakin. Well, yes, and I perfected it, said Obi-Wan, causing Anakin to grumble. Anyways, the move is called Cosmic Ascension. It's very similar to the Ascension mode, however this drains your stamina and is weaker. However, you can only activate this mode when in Balance Breaker. Yes, the move allows you to be able to transcend into a weaker Ascension form, allowing you to use cosmic abilities at the cost of stamina instead of life force. Lady Nebula? Said both Obi-Wan and Anakin, bowing at the sight of Nebula. Relax, stop bowing, we're friends now. And Issei, on the subject of life force, I may have a solution. Have you ever heard of the Philosopher's Stone? Issei shook his head at this. The stone allows one to gain tremendous amounts of life force. The current owner, Nicholas Flamel, is said to be immortal. I believe Anakin has met him. Yes, I have. Flamel has been able to live for 600 years last I checked. He helped me a lot when I was facing Force. Unfortunately, Force was just too strong for us, said Anakin. Yes, he has also helped Anakin in the Life Force department. I believe it was an additional 500 years or some number close to that after he entered Ascension mode. Yes, I would have died in the 1400s if it wasn't for him, said Anakin. Alright, let's find this Nicholas Flamel then. Where is he anyways, Nebula? Said Issei. I believe the land of the wizards, Europe, or more specifically and most likely England. I haven't heard from him a long time, replied Nebula. Alright, England it is. Let me just tell Azazel, said Issei, nodding at the three figures before each vanished from his mind. Outside Issei's mind asterisk, Issei, upon hearing where he was to go, walked over to Azazel's office. While walking, he heard multiple moans and groans from several doors. Sighing, he remembered how he was living in the Grigori, the fallen headquarters, where fallen angels tended to do what they were best at, seduction and having intercourse. Oh yes, harder, harder, moaned from one of the rooms. Issei shook his head and went faster to Azazel's office before stopping. His blood ran cold. It wasn't because Azazel was probably having sex with the fallen. No, it was because of the name he heard. For the last time, Kokabeel, I'm not joining you guys. I'm not restarting the Great War. And I won't be joining this Cow's Brigade, exclaimed Azazel. The mention of Kokabeel made Issei suddenly fathom with anger. He was leaking with cosmic energy, similar to when he entered Ascension mode. Snap out of it, Issei, yelled out Anakin. Don't let your anger control your actions. Control your emotions. Issei wanted to, he really wanted to control his anger, but the images from his childhood kept on flashing. His dad tortured in the hands of Kokabeel, his mom raped by Kokabeel and 2 other fallen. He just couldn't. Issei, listen to me. Don't you dare let your anger control you. Anger will only lead to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Don't suffer. Do you really want to use up your remaining life force right now? Do you not want to see Vala? Issei calmed down. He remembered Vala, the days they trained, the times they hanged out, and her saying I love you to him. Nebula was right. He couldn't die. He still had things to do. At this, the cosmic energy slowly but surely dissipated. Disappointing Azazel. We could have ruled the world together, growled out Kokabeel. I shall take my leave now. I have better business to do anyways. With that, Kokabeel took off in a magic circle, teleporting to who knows where. Issei, seeing and sensing that Kokabeel left, entered the room, seeing Azazel mad at his desk. Azazel quickly calmed down after seeing Issei and asked him, "What's up?" "Other than Kokabeel, I would like to go to England," replied Issei. Azazel was about to ask why when Issei cut him off. "Nebula thinks that she has a way to extend my life force so I don't die when I turn 16. Azazel brightened up at this and said, "Then what are you waiting for? Just go." Issei deadpanned at this. "I remember 1 year ago when I asked if I could go outside and hang out with Rainier. Not even that far, just the backyard, and you demanded me to ask you for permission any time I decide to step outside. Or that time I went outside to nap and you nearly blew up the Grigori." Azazel nervously chuckled, "Well, you were 12. Anyways, where are you going to go?" Issei shook his head and said, "Europe. I'm in search of a guy named Nicholas Flamel? Nicholas Flamel? The Nicholas Flamel? The immortal mortal? Exclaimed Azazel. Yes? He has something called the Philosopher's Stone, something which can heal life force and extend it. Responded Issei. It sounds good, but be careful, son. Nicholas Flamel is affiliated with the wizard faction. Their presence is mainly in Europe, so be careful. Responded Azazel. Issei looked surprised. You're not gonna send any bodyguards? Or send spies? Hell, you're not gonna come with me? Does this mean I'm free? Azazel laughed at this. You're strong enough. You almost beat me after all. Upon seeing Issei's confusion, he continued, Issei, your power level is unpredictable. You grow depending on your enemy. The spar today, you had me by surprise. If I didn't know about your abilities, I probably would have taken serious damage. Seriously. And I feel like you need to experience the outside world for yourself. Discover new things. Build new relationships. That kind of stuff. Issei understood what Azazel was saying, but one thing still bothered him. What about the guy that didn't even try and defeated me in my strongest mode? Azazel, as his carefree tone said, if he had wanted to kill you, he would have done so already. I feel like he's a battle maniac. He wants you to grow stronger for some reason before he defeats you or you defeat him. That man is the wielder of force. He's incredibly strong. Though something about him feels familiar. I'd always thought he had perished with Anakin, but it seems that he has survived somehow. Yeah, when I died I couldn't sense him and just assumed he died when I was fighting both him and the sun. Said Anakin. The sun? Asked Issei. The sun is Force's son. And for the details, I will soon tell you, but first listen to Azazel. Said Anakin. Issei nodded telepathically and looked at Azazel. Well, as for the bodyguard situation, I'll be sending a fellow fallen with you, said Azazel. Rainier! He yelled out. Soon after, a magic circle appeared and Rainier appeared and bowed to Azazel. Yes, my lord? You are to accompany Issei on his journey to Europe, Azazel told Rainier. Rainier blushed at this. All she wanted was to be alone with Issei, and maybe, just maybe. Rainier, are you sure you want to come with me? It'll be dangerous, maybe, asked Issei. He was of course concerned, as Rainier was the only other friend he had made besides Vali and the Grigori. Yes. I want to come with you, said Rainier, who was beaming and excited. Azazel laughed at this and said, just don't get her pregnant or else Vali will have galactic downfall. Why, it was a joke. Issei, chill. I'm sorry. Oh. Alright, got everything, Rainier? Issei asked while packing the last of his things in this small bag. He just had some money, a phone, a few snacks and a book in case he got bored. Yes, Issei, responded Rainier. Be careful, our relations with the wizards aren't exactly the best, said Azazel, who was still rubbing his head in pain from the blow he was dealt from Issei a few hours ago. But remember to search for a guy named Dumbledore. Old guy. You'll see him when you get into Hogwarts. Was it Hogwarts? Hogdarts. Yes, Hogdarts. You mean Hogwarts? Asked Issei, who had a deadpan face. Yes. That's cool. I'll alert them of you too. Anyways, I'll teleport you guys right now. Stay safe, and I mean it both figuratively and physically, said Azazel, who was grinning before setting a magic circle teleporting both Issei and Rainier, the former of which was about to yell at Azazel. In Britain, platform 9 and 3/4, Azazel! Yelled out Issei. He looked around and saw that he wasn't in the Grigori. Several people were looking at him. One even walked by and said, kids these days. Issei was embarrassed and tried to walk with Rainier quickly following him. Mom! The train for Hogwarts is about to leave. Let's go! At the moment Issei heard Hogwarts, he immediately rushed forward with Rainier yelping begins him, telling him to slow down. Issei did indeed slow down, but he slowed down because he saw what he never thought would happen. He saw people go through a wall. A wall! He didn't know what to make of it. But he heard a mother say, and there they go, another year at Hogwarts. Upon hearing this, he told Rainier, maybe we should run into the wall. Hogwarts might be behind it. Rainier nodded at this, and they both prepared to charge into the wall. 3, 2, 1, go! Yelled Issei, both him and Rainier charging head first into the wall. "Ow," said both Issei and Rainier. They were both on the ground with big bumps on their forehead. People were suddenly flicking towards them asking if they were okay, and why they were running into a wall. Moments later, they were both outside still rubbing their heads from the pain. A second later, Magic Circle appeared next to both of their heirs. "Ahaha, did you guys try to run into the wall?" "That was brilliant!" "Azazel," thought Issei. That man was going to get it when he got back. He looked over at Rainier, who seemed to have the same thought. "Anyways, I'll teleport you guys outside Hogwarts. Don't worry, no pranks this time. Now get ready, I'll send the coordinates to you guys right now," said Azazel out of the magic circle. Being sent the coordinates, Issei prepared a magic circle and asked Rainier if she was ready, who promptly nodded. He nodded back and both soon teleported to the coordinates. "At Hogwarts asterisk, so this is Hogwarts?" asked Issei, who was staring at the massive castle. Suddenly they were blasted with magic. Issei quickly put up a barrier before another spell was casted, knocking Issei down. Rainier soon fell down too, being hit by the first and second spell. "Speak your business," said an old woman. "Ow. I'm here to speak with Dumbledore. Azazel sent us," said Issei. The woman nodded at this. "Yes, we've been expecting you. Sorry for the attack. The previous 2 years at the school has had us on alert." "All right, right this way, mister?" "Issei. Issei Hyoudou. The girl next to me is Rainier." "What's your name?" "I am Professor McGonagall. Now let's go, Issei and Rainier." "In Dumbledore's office, Mr. Dumbledore?" asked Issei when he saw an old man with a phoenix next to him. "Ah yes, Mr. Issei. And Ms. Rainier. Azazel told me about you too. Especially you, Issei Hyoudou," said Dumbledore. Something about him made Issei just trust him. As if he had a grandfather feel to him. "Oh? I thought the Fallen and the Wizards didn't have a good relationship?" asked Issei, who was curious at how both Azazel and Dumbledore knew of each other. "Yes, well, the Wizards' government, the Ministry of Magic, don't particularly like the Fallen. That doesn't mean the rest of the Wizards don't like them. I knew Azazel and we are friends, though he didn't tell me the specifics of your visit." "Ah, you see. I'm in search of Nicholas Flamel? If that's so, unfortunately he's dead. Both he and the stone perished 2 years ago," said Dumbledore. "May I ask why you are searching for him?" "You see, Mr. Dumbledore, 2 years ago I went into something like a Juggernaut drive. You've heard of it, right?" asked Issei. Dumbledore nodded and Issei continued, "Well, mine is called Ascension mode, and because I used it, my life force shrank to about 5 years. I die sometime around 16. I'm sorry, Mr. Issei, but the stone is gone. All properties of it has seemingly perished." "Oh, that's okay," responded Issei. He was depressed as he couldn't extend his life. Much less, he basically just wasted both him and Rainier's time. Speaking of Rainier, when he looked at her, she was shocked, well baffled, as she didn't know about Issei's 5-year lifespan. "Oh, please do stay. I don't want you to go back feeling like your trip was a waste of your time. Here, I'll give you to a room reserved for visitors." "Oh, I'll have to think about it," said Issei. He wanted to go back to the Gregory and continue to train, but he didn't want to decline the man's offer as a sign of not wanting to be rude. "Professor Dumbledore, the train is being attacked by a few dementors," cried out a teacher who had just burst into the room. "Oh dear, send the professors in. I'll join you guys in a few seconds," replied Dumbledore. He looked over at Issei and apologized. "Sorry, Issei. Something has just came up." "Oh, it's no problem, but can we tag along? We may provide some assistance," asked Issei. With nothing left to do, he might as well do something while he was here. "Okay, we will be going to the train. You'll be able to see it when you leave the entrance of Hogwarts." "You can fly, yes?" asked Dumbledore. Both Issei and Rainier nodded at this. "Good, when you fly up you will see a few of the professors and me. Now it's time to go." With that, Dumbledore seemingly twirled his wand and vanished. Issei glances at Rainier. "Well, let's do this then." Rainier nodded, and after both left the entrance of Hogwarts, Rainier let loose her wings and started to fly up. While for Issei, Cosmic Dragon Balance Breaker. He transformed to his balance breaker and also flew up. They both saw flashes of light by an old-school train and flew quickly to it. When they landed, they were met by a being covered in black robes. A skeleton arm and black wisps of smoke started to flow towards them. Expecto Patronum! Yelled out Dumbledore, casting a spell which seemed to ward off the being. The Patronus Charm, the only spell we wizards can cast to ward the Dementor off. I presume that's your balance breaker, Issei? Issei nodded and twirled his spear around, hitting another Dementor, sending it flying with cosmic energy. Rainier was holding her own too, sending light spears on the Dementors. Suddenly, a Dementor sent an ice blast to Rainier, who wasn't paying attention as she was busy fighting two Dementors. Issei, seeing his quickly used wormhole, teleporting behind that Dementor and swung up, sending the Dementor flying upwards. Rainier looked over with a blushing face, thanking him. He was about to respond when he saw a Dementor on a boy. The boy looked to be about his age, with glasses and a seemingly lightning scar on his forehead. The Dementor was different from the rest as well. It was bigger and had longer robes. The skeleton hands were larger too. It also seemed to be sucking something from the boy. Quickly realizing it was the boy's soul, Issei flew over to the boy and knocked the Dementor back. The thing shrieked at Issei and sent an ice blast towards him, which Issei quickly reacted. Gravity, now twirling his spear and pointing it back the Dementor while charging at the being. Infinite Cosmos, Issei transferred parts of the ice attack towards his spear, while the second ability sent a similar ice attack seemingly bigger and colder towards the Dementor. The Dementor saw the attack coming and quickly flew away, scraped by the attack, causing it to howl in pain. The Dementor shrieked again, this time louder, and started to fly away, other Dementors following him. Issei was about to give chase, but not before Dumbledore told him to stop. Issei, let's go. We have to escort the students back into the building. I believe the Dementors have got the message. Issei nodded at this. He began to lift the boy whom the Dementor had attacked and flew with Rainier back to Hogwarts. In an unknown area, Lord Darkin, one of my underlings, has reported to me that he has been attacked by a being with cosmic abilities. Allow me to take care of this problem, said a shadowy being. Oh, must be Issei, he said gleefully. Yes, go attack him, but don't kill him. I wish for him to be alive for other purposes. Kill whoever you want, just spare him. Now go, you have my permission, Darth Niilus. Thank you, my lord, said Darth Niilus before disappearing in a trail of smoke. Again with this lord thing, said Darkin. It's the way of the Darths, Darkin. They recognize you as their leader and call you lord, and soon you will be known as emperor. Issei yawned as he woke up. He was unbelievably tired and full. He felt an arm around his chest. He looked at the arm and was seriously confused. He then saw whom the arm belonged to, Rainier. Suddenly yesterday's memories came rushing to him. Yesterday *, after Issei and Rainier brought the children and teens on the train to Hogwarts, there was a ceremony present welcoming all the new students. Both Issei and Rainier sat at head table as honored guests, being praised for their effort in stopping and warding off the Dementors. Now dig in, said Dumbledore. Issei was awfully confused, as well was Rainier, but it changed into amazement as thousands of plates were suddenly filled with food of the highest proportions. Mashed potatoes, fries, steak, burgers, caviar, anything you could have thought of just appeared, and soon everyone ate to their heart's content. On the head table, there were bottles of wine and other classy drinks. Both Issei and Rainier had their mouths open, drooling at the sight of such delicious-looking food. Dumbledore laughed at this and told them to dig in. And dig in they did, Issei munching on a piece of fried chicken and some mashed potatoes. Rainier was busy chewing a piece of the steak offered. Both had faces of pure enjoyment as they continued to eat to their heart's content. A few hours later, Ugh, I don't feel so good, said Issei. He looked close to vomiting. His stomach was full of food. He knew he shouldn't have ate so much, yet it looked so appetizing. I told you to stop eating, Issei. Sighs, I can't carry you forever, you know, responded Rainier. She was also full, no doubt about that, but she didn't eat that much when compared to Issei. While she only had like 3 plates of food, Issei had 10. 10! Rainier couldn't register how a 13-year-old was able to eat 10 plates of food. And they were stacked. Rainer, I think I'm going to puke, Issei said with a green face. Rainer Signings placed him down and created a bag out of a magic circle and placed it beneath his mouth. And so Issei vomited. All that food gone to waste. What a shame. When Issei seemingly was done, Rainer asked if he was ready to go to their rooms. Issei weakly nodded before vomiting again. Shaking her head, Rainer carried Issei back to their rooms where Issei instantly fell asleep, snoring and completely passed out. Present asterisk. Issei could remember embarrassingly how he was, eating and vomiting so much. But one thing was weird, how did Rainer end up snuggling with him? Issei looked down and saw Rainer's blushing face. Why are you in my bed? Asked Issei. However, he wasn't opposed to it. She was rather comfortable to sleep with. Well, you see. You looked so lonely, so I decided to stay with you to keep you company? Rainer voiced out. Not sounding convinced, Issei replied, that's okay. You felt rather comfortable. Eh? Responded Rainer. She was surprised. She didn't expect her crush to accept her on his bed, much less say that she was comfortable to sleep with. Suddenly so many fantasies filled up her mind, images of both her and Issei, the fantasies. Hey hee! Laughed out Rainer, still in her daydreaming. Issei looked at this and was about to ask why Rainer was laughing when a magic circle appeared next to his ear. Why, oh Issei! Did you find Flamel? Asked Azazel. He was hoping for some good news. Sadly no, he apparently died a few years back. Responded Issei saddened. Oh, so I guess you will be coming back to the Grigori? Asked Azazel in return. He was also saddened at the fact that Issei was still going to die at 16. Yeah, I think we'll be back in a few, Issei! Exclaimed Dumbledore, warping in. The dementors, they're back. We need you and Rainer to help the rest of the professors hold them back. Issei could see the ice forming along the walls, which was an indication that dementors were nearby. Sorry Azazel, something came up, said Issei as he shook Rainer out of her daydreaming, telling her about the attack. Rainer understood and got ready. I heard dementors, was it? Well, nasty buggers, but you can handle it. Alright, I'll see you soon Issei, goodbye. Issei turned and got ready himself. Then he and Rainer flew to where Dumbledore was. He was fighting with a certain different-looking dementor. He had a mask, but what shook Issei was the red sword he was using. It was deflecting Dumbledore's spells, and it seemed the wizard was having a hard time. Cosmic Dragon Balance Breaker. Issei dove headfirst into the red-bladed being, knocking the being back. He thrusted his spear forward only to be blocked by the red blade. So you are him. The enemy of my lord, said the being. Who are you? Asked Issei as he deflected another strike from the being. I am Darth Niilus, and today I will kill someone close to you as ordered by my master, said Darth Niilus before he turned his spare hand towards Rainer. Issei was still in a deadlock with his other hand, blade against sword. Though I'm surprised how your spear can deflect my lightsaber. Suddenly a bolt of lightning was seen coming from Darth Niilus' hand. It quickly traveled to Rainer, who was holding off two dementors. Rainer screamed with pain as she was electrocuted. The two dementors she was fighting struck her with ice blasts, causing her to yell out in more pain. No! Issei screamed out. He ended the deadlock and swung his spear down. Galactic downfall. Darth Niilus, however, easily deflected this, sending Issei back. He then concentrated his lightning on Issei, causing him to roar with pain. In his mind, Obi-Wan and Anakin were trying to talk with him. Issei, listen to me. We have to use Cosmic Ascension, said Obi-Wan. Use your spear and block the lightning, said Anakin. Still in pain, Issei blocked the lightning with his spear. He then asked Nebula how much time he has in Cosmic Ascension. You will have 5 minutes at most before you collapse from exhaustion. Issei understood and looked over at Rainer. She had fainted, but Dumbledore was there, and he was holding off two of the dementors, protecting Rainer in the process. Issei nodded at Dumbledore, who nodded back before continuing his barrage of spells. Issei looked back at Darth Niilus with a sense of determination. Darth Niilus was intrigued by this boy, being able to withstand his lightning where others could not. He was one of the strongest Darths to be able to conduct the lightning. He snapped out of his thoughts when he heard something and was slammed into a wall. Cosmic Ascension. Issei, in his balance breaker, suddenly transformed. His armor was more like a hybrid between his balance breaker and Ascension mode. His wings were longer and brighter, he had talons and his armor looked stronger, sturdier and brighter. A/N. I took inspiration from Juzikar Aatrox from League, just combined with Supreme Bahamut from Social Empires. Issei roared out before charging at Niilus with insane speed, slamming his spear into his abdomen, sending him back. You only have 5 minutes, remember. Use it well. Issei nodded and continued to assault Niilus. Niilus was able to keep up, blocking most of Issei's attacks while at the same time sending in his own strikes and lightning. He shot his lightsaber up when he heard Cosmic Downfall, only to roar in pain when he heard Wormhole. His lower half was in extreme pain. Issei, who looked over at Niilus, asked him one question. Who sent you here? Niilus looked at him and growled before sending another bolt of lightning, this time combining his ice attack with it, making it an icy bolt of pure lightning. Issei took the attack head-on as he couldn't perceive how fast it was. He hit the wall behind him and fell down. He struggled to stand up. Whoever sent me here didn't want me to kill you. You will not know his name. He will reveal his name to you himself. Now suffer, replied Darth Niilus, sending another bolt of his ice lightning, causing Issei to scream in pain. Then with his spare hand, he launched a more powerful bolt at the down Rainier, causing her to scream even more, lightning streaks all over her body, moving like snakes. Quickly, Issei, use this new ability. Cosmic Burst. Hurry! You only have a couple of minutes left. Issei painfully nodded and yelled out, Cosmic Burst, causing a burst of cosmic energy to explode out, knocking Niilus down. Groaning in pain, Issei lifted his spear up before charging in at Niilus again. Swinging his spear, he swung at Niilus, only for him to block again. However, this time a mini explosion happened, knocking the Darth back. Cosmic Burst allows you to use more explosive amounts of cosmic energy, making your attacks basically explode. And 2 minutes, hurry up. Issei nodded with this new information. He then thought to Nebula and asked her if he could use Cosmic Extinction. Unfortunately, no, you can't. That move is way too powerful. However, remember, you can use a weaker version. It's called Cosmic Devastation. To use it, go high up and dive down. But make sure your target is incapable of moving. Twirling his spear, Issei quickly charged at Niilus, aiming his spear at Niilus before using Wormhole. Niilus was now more cautious. He sensed Issei to his left and quickly blocked it. Issei, feeling his attack was blocked, quickly used Wormhole again and struck down. Quickly, Niilus blocked it again. Issei grew frustrated and was about to use Wormhole again before Nebula warned him, Issei, you can't use Wormhole again. You can't phase through the dimension anymore. It's too dangerous. Issei got even more frustrated at this. He twirled his spear and slammed it down at Niilus, who responded with a bolt of lightning. Perfect, thought Issei. Gravity. Niilus grew confused as his lighting seemingly was gone. Infinite Cosmos. Suddenly he was struck with his own lightning. He howled out in pain. Then it stopped. Issei was suddenly gone. Niilus looked around for him but couldn't see him. Then he heard it. Cosmic Devastation. He looked up and saw a swirling comet heading straight for him. He then felt nervous, something he hadn't felt for a long time. He then used his lightning and infused it with his lightsaber and tried to block the comet. Boom! Niilus was hit with the brute strength of the comet, his lightsaber still trying its best to block it before the comet slowly overpowered him. And eventually, the comet struck him in the chest, causing him to cough up black wisps of smoke as he laid there in a huge crater with Issei standing above him in his new armor, spear pointed at Niilus' throat. Surrender! Issei yelled out from his armor. Niilus looked at Issei, and then Issei could see his yellow eyes. The eyes were full of hatred and was directly sent to Issei. Never. 10 seconds. Issei glared and prepared to end this before he was hit by a barrage of ice blasts from multiple dementors. Issei went down a few feet from Niilus, being hit by a beam of combined ice blasts from the dementors. Niilus got up and held his lightsaber before telling Issei, I'll be back. And do prepare. For I will not go easier on you. With that, Niilus told his dementors to leave while at the same time disappearing in a trail of smoke. Time's up. The armor immediately dispersed, showing a bloody and fainted Issei who fell down into Dumbledore's arms. I now see why this boy is important to you, Azazel, said Dumbledore, before looking at Azazel. How long were you here? Since Issei entered his new mode Cosmic Ascension, was it? He did well for a kid his age. How's the other person I sent? Is she alright? Asked Azazel. She's fine, old friend. Now I presume you must bring them back? Asked Dumbledore. Yes, but first let me fix the damage, offered Azazel. No need, responded Dumbledore, who in a flick of his hands somehow had the damage caused from Issei's and Niilus' fight be reversed. There. Azazel laughed out loud at this. You have to teach me that someday, you old man. Ahaha, someday indeed. Now I have a school to run. Goodbye, Azazel, said Dumbledore, who also laughed with Azazel before walking back into the school with the other professors. Rainier then slowly and painfully arose from unconsciousness before bowing towards Azazel. Lord Azazel. Ow, she said in pain, not fully recovered from her injuries. Stop it, get up. You're in pain. Let's take you back to the Gregory for medical attention, said Azazel, concerned for his subordinate before grinning. How was your little date with Issei? Rainier blushed at this and mumbled something. Azazel asked for her to speak up, in which she did. What she said caused Azazel to laugh out loud. So you finally got to sleep with him? Asked Azazel. Rainier humbly nodded while still blushing. Azazel smirked at this and mentally thought, never going to forget about this. Wait till Vali hears about this. As if someone read his mind, the spear that Issei was holding suddenly glowed. Azazel, said a voice that promised pain. Azazel gulped at the voice of Nebula and hurriedly transported Issei's and Rainier's belongings to their respective owners before activating a magic circle and teleporting away. Inside, Dumbledore looked at the three people before they teleported. Intriguing, don't you think so, Minerva? Indeed, that boy will turn into a wonder for this world, said Professor McGonagall. She was about to speak again when a 13-year-old boy ran into the room. Professor! Draco is at Gryffindor Tower again, yelled out a boy with glasses, the same boy Issei had saved. Sighing, Professor McGonagall said, Fine, let's hurry up now. The boy nodded and said bye to Dumbledore before following Professor McGonagall. Bye, Harry, responded Dumbledore, who looked back just in time to see Azazel teleport Rainier and Issei and himself back to the Gregory. Intriguing indeed. Let's see how he will change the world with what little time he has left. In an unknown area, a Darth Niilus report, said Darkin. My lord, this boy. He somehow bested me, responded Niilus. Darkin looked pleased at this. Oh, he has managed to contain 25% of your power, HM? My lord, what do you mean? Oh, you don't know? I sealed 3/4 of your power away. I didn't want you to accidentally kill him after all, said Darkin. My lord, I didn't even feel my power disappear. Well, when you are the third strongest in the universe, many of the things you do can have some deem them unnatural, responded Darkin before laughing in a dark tone. Darth Niilus didn't understand this. Forgive Darkin, Niilus. He just sealed your power, and has just unsealed it. He can be a bit weird at times. You may leave now. Darth Niilus bowed at Darkin before disappearing in a trail of smoke. Shame he only has 3 years left. What a shame, said Darkin, who stopped laughing. He was weak, HM maybe. But so was I. Suddenly a portal appeared and out came a man. Darkin, said the man. Yes, father? Why are you going after your mother? Father, I'm going after her host, not her. Mother's dead after all, responded Darkin. The man sighed, just be safe. I can't lose you too. Rest easy, Nova, your son is safe. Thank you, my friend, said Nova. He always trusted Force and was one of Force's more trusted allies. The Dragon of Flaming Comets was one of Force's strongest forces. And when he was asked to infiltrate and befriend Nebula, he did so without hesitation. He had to conceal most of his power as he was on par with the heavenly dragons. But he didn't realize he'll fall in love and mate with her and create Tiamat and Jezeth, no Darkin. When the two, Nebula and Force, fought, Nova couldn't do anything about it. He didn't want to participate in fighting his lover, not his old friend. He hesitated when Force asked him to fake his own death so that Nebula would be filled with rage. Nova of course complied, as while Force was power-hungry and sometimes arrogant, he was there whenever Nova needed him. With faking his own death, he also faked Jezitha's death to Nebula's and Tiamat's eyes. While doing so, Nova brought Darkin to Great Red for him to train. He also asked Great Red to keep their existences a secret. And the rest was history. Just be safe, Darkin. Yes, father, responded Darkin. To Darkin, Nova was the only thing holding him. Nova was truly the only being he cared for. And with that, Nova went through his portal and disappeared. 1 week later, Issei groaned as he slowly got up. His muscles were aching and he was starving. So he has awakened, said an ominous voice. Issei rolled his eye at this and greeted the voice. Hello, Obi-Wan. Damn, I'm sore. Well, yes, considering how you were passed out for a week after what has transpired at Hogwarts. What you are feeling is normal, said Obi-Wan, who started to chuckle. Issei laughed at this too and called Azazel. Azazel, can you be our crash? Issei. You're alright. How are you feeling? Asked Azazel worriedly, who sprinted up and bear-hugged Issei. He mostly blamed himself for not showing up earlier to help with the dementors, but he felt proud as Issei was able to achieve a higher form and eventually defeat one of the Darths. Ack. Yes. Ow, I'm really sore right now. Can you also give me some food? I'm starving, Issei said. He was slowly losing conscious as he couldn't breathe. And I can't. Lord Azazel. You're choking him, shouted Rainier. But at the sight of an awake Issei, she felt at ease. She also didn't get the right moment to properly thank him for what he did. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Anyways, I'll get my subordinates for cook some of the best dishes, Azazel said before snapping his fingers, causing many cooks to appear and began to tell them what to make. In the midst of this was Rainier talking with Issei. Listen, Issei. Thank you for helping me. I don't know what I could have been if it wasn't for you. Issei looked softly at Rainier before hugging her. It's no problem. I'll do anything for those I care about. Rainier melted into the hug and both of them stayed that way for a solid minute before Issei's stomach growled. They both laughed and separated. Somehow in that minute, Azazel was able to tell the cooks what to make and have them go and cook. While this wasn't that impressive, it's the fact that in under 1 minute a dozen dishes were laid out in front of Issei's bed. Sushi, tempura, shrimp B-tails, pizza, steak, so much food in front of Issei. Grinning ear to ear, he dug in. Burp. Issei let out a huge burp after he had eaten all of the dishes. Of course he had shared, but the amounts they had were like the size of a baby compared to a 15-foot titan. Issei let out a sign of satisfaction. He then looked at Azazel. Azazel, I had a thought. Can I continue to explore the world? Azazel asked why, but he kind of knew why. Well, if I'm going to die by around 16, then I would want to experience as much as I can before then. Rainier looked saddened again, the fact of Issei's early demise still lingering. Well, I guess I'll let you then. Just be careful. We can't have another Hogwarts happen again. Any ideas where to go? Asked Azazel before reminding Issei, but you can't leave right now. You are insanely deprived of energy and need to recover. And train to get stronger and hold that form longer. Issei nodded at this, but what he heard next made him groan. You are to sleep. Wake up tomorrow and we'll continue the training. Fini. Responded Issei, which reminded Azazel how he was still 13. Azazel chuckled and began to leave before grabbing Rainier. After he left Issei's room and closed the door, he took Rainier to his office and closed it. Rainier, you are well aware of Issei's fate, right? Started Azazel. Yes. And I don't know what to do. I like him. No. I love him. I don't know what to do, responded Rainier, who was close to tears. While Issei probably didn't have any feelings for her, she very much did for him. Sighs, it's going to be tough for both you and Vali. But I'll try my best to help both of you when he dies, Azazel said. But let's not think of that stuff for now. You are dismissed. You are free for the month. And do you want to go with Issei? Yes, Lord Azazel, responded Rainier. Only if he lets me. Azazel nodded and had her dismissed. God damn it. Is there anything that can help Issei? In Issei's room. Damn. I need to improve the timer on Cosmic Ascension. Indeed. Don't worry, Issei. We will help you. By the end of the month, you will hopefully be up to 30 minutes. Cheer up, Issei. You managed to defeat a Darth. While Niilus wasn't the strongest, he's up there. So cheer up and take in this small victory, said Anakin. Indeed, I defeated my first Darth when I was much older than you, and I couldn't even hold Cosmic Ascension for as long as you initially could, said Obi-Wan. Well then, I guess we should start our mental training right now then. Start to improve my abilities. All four nodded and began Issei's training. A month later. Ugh, that last lap was so tiring, groaned out Issei. He was insanely tired from running his final lap. He then let himself down with a heavy thud. He had forgotten about his weights. He began to lift the 100 pounds weights out of this bag and finally laid down. The last month of stamina training, sparring with multiple fallen, sometimes solo, others multiple fallen at the same time, as well as sparring in Azazel. The final thing he did before his final stamina run was face off against Azazel. Azazel was actually struggling against Issei, but when Issei entered his Cosmic Ascension, Azazel took Issei more seriously, going 75% full power. Done with your running? Asked Azazel, who appeared a few feet behind Issei, who nodded. Yeah, and apparently I can hold my Cosmic Ascension for about 45 minutes, said Issei. Azazel proudly nodded at this. Oh, and have you finally decided where to go? How about Atlantis? But I wanted to go to Russia. Russia's good too, but Atlantis only appears to individuals on certain days, and this is the only time this decade that Atlantis will show up. Issei nodded at this and responded to Azazel, Atlantis. Azazel looked surprised at this. Atlantis? That city is sunken, Issei. Are you sure? Issei nodded and told Azazel how Nebula told him how Atlantis was still standing and is invisible to the supernatural, and is only shown on specific times to specific people. Azazel laughed at this. Let me guess, you are one of them. I have always maintained a good relationship with them. They are one of my oldest friends. When they disappeared, they made sure to tell me where they were in case I wanted to visit. Issei knew when Nebula was lying, but he decided not to question her. Azazel pondered on this. So only Issei can go. Rainier wanted to come, but I guess she can't now. Issei nodded at this. I guess not. She'll be sad, but she will understand. Just stay safe out there, son, said Azazel. I'm leaving tomorrow, Azazel, said Issei. I'm still way too tired to go right now. Haha, yes, of course. Well, take care. I'll see you tomorrow before you leave. With that, Azazel left with his arms behind his head before he started to sweat. Azazel, get back here and finish your work. That was the voice of Shemhazai, Azazel's assistant and second in command. Issei laughed at this and teased Azazel, better get back to work, I. Haha. Azazel grew sad at this, I guess so, while leaking fake tears. Issei shook his head at this and began to walk away, only to met by Rainier. So Issei, where are we going? Started Rainier. I am going to Atlantis. You can't come, sorry. Atlantis? Wait, why? Is it because I'm too weak? No. No. You're strong, it's just that Atlantis is only visible to certain people, and if you come, it won't reveal itself. Issei told Rainier whilst comforting her, promising her that he'll come back unscathed. Rainier poured at this and said fine, but before leaving and with a blushing face gave Issei a kiss on the cheek. With that she ran away. Issei looked at what just happened with a surprised face. Ahaha wooha! That's my boy, exclaimed Anakin. Oh, stop that childish behavior, Anakin, responded Obi-Wan. Guys, I don't know. I love Vali. I don't think I'm able to love anyone else. Eventually you will have to. You are part dragon and male dragons attract multiple mates, responded Anakin. Yes, and I believe you will soon open your heart as you mature into a young man, Obi-Wan said. As a male dragon, you will want multiple mates. Eventually those that love you will have their feelings return, but for now it's not the time. Remember, He won't be here for long to take care of multiple people. Right, I'm still going to die. At least hopefully I'll be with Val. Indeed, said both Anakin and Obi-Wan. Nebula didn't want to say anything as she felt guilty, her being the one to use his life force to heal himself. Relax, Nebula, I would have died earlier if you didn't do what you did. Thanks, Issei. The next day. Alright, Nebula, you have the coordinates right. Yes, I'll transmit them when you leave the Grigori. Issei nodded at this, and when Azazel entered the room, he went to Issei and hugged him. Be safe. Issei promised him that he will try to stay safe. The hug only got tighter until Issei said that he will stay safe. The hug finally relented, and Azazel told Issei that if he needed him, he can use the paper. What paper? Asked Issei, who was handed a paper with Azazel's face. He rolled his eyes at this and told Azazel, Don't worry, I'll keep in contact. Azazel nodded at this and bid Issei goodbye. And with that, Issei left the Grigori flying away in his balance breaker with Azazel still staring at him until he was no longer visible. How quick kids grow up, he thought before heading back inside to continue his research. In an unknown planet, Dargan, about what's to happen. What will you do? Well, first, I'm going to obtain something. Summon Tenebris. A shadowy wise suddenly appeared a few feet away from Darkin, and out stepped a being covered in silver chest armor. Underneath were robes. His bottom face was covered in a mask, and he wore, like all the Darths, a black cape. And on his belt was the hilt of his red lightsaber. My lord, what is it that you require of me? I require you to obtain an artifact from a planet known as Earth. Why Earth? Earth is one of the strongest planets, my dear Tenebris. They have quite valuable weapons, and I need you to get one of them for what's to come. Understood. What's the weapon? It's not really a weapon. More like a piece of coral. The Tetris coral. The object allows the user to control the prisoned Aquarius golems that are so strong that they rivaled the gods of Earth. Obtain it for our usage. Yes, Lord Force. Is there an upcoming? Hush, Tenebris. There are people reading. We can't spoil it. My lord? Don't worry about Darkin, Tenebris. He is sometimes very weird. Tenebris just looked at this and started to backstep. I'm going to go on the mission. Where to exactly? Darkin grinned at this. The lost city of Atlantis. Okay, this should be far enough. I'll be sending the coordinates right now. After a few seconds, Issei got the coordinates to the hidden city. Oh, the Bermuda Triangle. An area not even the supernatural can figure out. Fitting, if I must say. The Atlanteans, just tell them Obi-Wan said hi, and I'm sure they'll let you in. Ha ha, really funny, Anakin. Tell them how Anakin almost made one of their princesses fall in love with him. Oh yeah, you old man, bring it, man-child. Oh, don't even get me started on when dash. Issei cut off the communication link and started to fly towards the coordinates. In mid-flight, he was asked a question from Nebula. How you are taking in the fact that you are going to die still bothers me. Nebula, it's because I know there's no other point in trying to avert it. We've tried already for the stone and it's gone. So I might as well just live my life to the fullest. Issei was trying to stay positive, but deep inside, he was sad. Sad at the fact he's not going to have children, sad that he won't live with Vali, and sad that he won't be able to live up to his promise to his parents. Don't worry, Issei, I'll be here for you. When you die, your soul will be one of the 3 to resonate in the gear. Yes, don't worry, Anakin, and I can keep you company. Thanks, guys. Thought Issei before he chuckled at exact that he'll spend the rest of his days with the 3 of the voices in his head. I think we're here, Issei said as he went into a deep fog that was spiraling with blue energy. Okay, I'll navigate you on where to go. Issei nodded and continued to fly, only to hit a piece of rock. Ow. Nebula, I thought you were going to navigate. Sorry? Issei shook his head and continued to fly. Left. Issei turned left and continued to fly. The fog felt nice, like how steam felt after you exited the shower. Nice and steamy. Rocks. Issei shook himself out of his thoughts and asked Nebula to repeat. Fly down, then go left at a diagonal, and you should see a pair of 2 rocks. Issei nodded and flew downwards, then at a diagonal to the left. And there it was. 2 rocks pointing at each other. However, it was pretty narrow in the middle. Now fly through it. You're joking, right? I'm way too huge for that, trust me, fine. And with that, Issei flew into the rocks. Ah? He expected himself to be pulverized, but when he went into the rocks, he wasn't. He opened his eyes and he saw it. He saw Atlantis. The golden buildings in front of him. People walking down the streets with what seemed like donuts. Children were playing to his left below him in a playground. The buildings were all golden with spirals and resembled that of old Greek buildings yet modernized. All of this in the ocean, but when Issei looked up, Atlantis wasn't in the ocean, it was on the ocean. Wait, how? I thought it sunk. No, Issei, it didn't. They fooled the rest of the world in a wild goose chase. Everyone thought they sunk, so they searched underwater, while in fact, Atlantis stood here, on the ocean in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. With barriers, of course. The rocks being one of them, only accessible by me and my users, of course. Issei nodded at this and dispersed his armor, landing atop the water. No! You idiot! Issei grew confused as suddenly multiple people surrounded him. Their tridents pointing all at his neck. The person in front of him held a different trident, sharper and a different color. He pointed his trident at Issei's head. Who are you? How did you get in here? Said the man, no more like teenager. He looked like he was 17. With golden hair, blue-green eyes and yellow armor adorning him like he was someone of high rank, like a prince. The person behind him was a female who also looked like a teen but more of a 15-year-old. She also had golden hair with blue-green eyes with a golden cape and some golden armor. I'm Issei Hyoudou, the Cosmic Dragon Emperor. Everyone around Issei lowered their spears at this but instantly put it back up. The teenage told Issei to prove it or else he was going to die. Cosmic Dragon Balance Breaker. With that, the people around Issei instantly lowered their spears and the teenage bowed at Issei. Sorry. I apologize. Issei's sweat dropped at this as all the people bowed at him. Please get up. I'm not used to people bowing. Everyone got up and dusted themselves off, yet there was strangely no dust. Who are you? Issei asked towards the golden-haired teen. Oh, me? I'm Prince Tyrell of Atlantis. The girl behind me is my sister, Princess Marina of Atlantis. Well, I'm Issei Hyoudou, as said before. Pleasure meeting you. Issei said before shaking Tyrell's hand. I hold the Galactic Spear, or Galaxy's End. I also hold a sacred gear, and so does my sister. I hold Poseidon's trident, and my sister holds. I can introduce my sacred gear myself, Tyrell, said the girl who pouted at this. She was rather cute in Issei's eyes, who instantly shook the feeling off. However, this had Obi-Wan and Anakin smirk in his mind, with Nebula sighing. Anyways, I hold the sacred gear, Zephyr's cry. I've never heard of these gears. Oh well, they are what people call lost gears, responded Marina, who started to follow her brother, who was walking back with his men towards somewhere. Issei understood this and followed Marina. Oh cool, I came here cause Nebula wanted me to for reasons she never told me. So you can train and experience the secret wonders of the world, said Nebula in a mysterious voice. Lady Nebula, said everyone, who began to bow again before Issei hushed them to stand up. So Tyrell and Marina, what do you guys do in Atlantis? Tyrell perked up at this. Oh, you see, in Atlantis, we produce state-of-the-art medicine and products. Atlantis also is a self-preserving nation. We don't need outside help to maintain ourselves. Our army is also very strong. To compare, it'll be on par with the Christian pantheon combined in 2 times the quantity and 5 times the quality. Marina rolled her eyes at this, and it's run by the royal family in which Tyrell is the crown prince. Sadly, because of this, he has no social skills. Tyrell cried out, fake tears. Marinea, it's not my fault, as cooped in the castle. They only let me out today because of the disturbance. Why would they let out the crown prince in a disturbance? Asked Issei. I think it's cause they wanted me to experience danger or fighting? But we had the best guards with me. I'm very thankful towards them. They've always been with me. Tyrell responded while fist bumping one of the guard and giving a high five to another. Issei's sweat dropped at this and asked Marina, quite the free person, isn't he? You have no idea, sighed Marina. Hey, Issei. Since you're new, want to be my friend? Asked Tyrell, who grinned. Sure? Great. Guards, you can leave me. I'll be with my sister and Issei. I'm sure we can take care of ourselves. The guards nodded and began to back away to their respective homes. So what's happening? Well, if you're hungry, we can go to a restaurant near us. The Cauldron of the Oceans. It was the best of the best seafood. And if you don't like seafood, it has great land food as well. Land food? Asked Issei. Well, yes. Seafood is food from the seas, so land food is, responded Marina, who stopped for Issei to continue. Food from the land, mumbled out Issei. This earned him a pat on the head from Marina, who grinned. This earned two specific voices in his head to grin and high-five each other, with a third one smacking both of them. I'm fine with whichever one, said Issei. Perfect, exclaimed Marina, who began to drag Issei towards the Cauldron of the Oceans. Tyrell was just laughing along the way. Any bystander would have seen this as a girl dragging her boyfriend along. With a third wheel, of course. Look at them. I remember those young days. And Marina is quite a looker, ain't she, Anakin? A/N. Marina will look like Winter Wonder Sorica from League Without the Horns, of course, along with the description said above. Tyrell will be like Ezreal with the said descriptions. Oh hush, Obi-Wan, let Issei have fun. This may be one of the only times he gets to have it. Indeed, they reached the entrance of the Cauldron of the Oceans and went in. Issei was instantly hit with the amazing smells of the seafood present and the land food. Land food just didn't resonate with Issei, but as a sign of respect he was going to refer to as such, when only in Atlantis. He began imagining how Azazel would react. He shook himself out of his thoughts when Marina asked him a question after they had ordered. Issei ordered a hybrid burger, which he assumed was a combination of sea and land food. Marina ordered a shrimp gumbo with tempura, and Tyrell had some seaweed and raw fish. So Issei, what's it like outside? Oh, it's like here, just different. The technology is different. Inferior, interrupted Marina. Different. Inferior. Diff. What's the point? Anyways, it's just very different yet familiar outside. So what about here? Glad you asked? Responded Tyrell, hushing his sister. In Atlantis, there's never boredom. We have new inventions every year. Our city is thriving without outside influence. Though it does sometimes become lonely, as everyone is the same, and there's hardly any new faces. You're the first new face since the last Cosmic Emperor, Anakin, I believe. We were dead, but my elders remember him. Issei nodded at this, and they continued their conversation. Parts of it included their childhood, with Issei revealing what had happened, causing Marina to consolidate him, and Tyrell patting his back. When he had mentioned Vali, Marina's eyes flickered, but Issei couldn't notice. And when he mentioned why he was even in Atlantis, as in the main reason, which is because he only had till about 16 before he dies. Marina lowered her head in ways Issei couldn't describe. Marina felt sad, something she hadn't felt in a long time. Tyrell grimaced at this, telling Issei that no matter when he'll die, he and his sister will be there for him. Issei looked surprised, as they only had met, but Tyrell assured him, any user of Galaxy's End is our friend. Soon, their food arrived and they began to dig in. So, what about your sacred gears? Began Issei, who took a bite of his burger. Well, our gears are like siblings in a sense. Started Tyrell, who got interrupted by Nebula. Yes, my siblings Poseidra and Zephyr. While I was the dragon of the cosmos, they were the dragons of water and the dragons of the wind, though their souls were very damaged when they were placed in their gears. Said Nebula. Centuries of being a sacred gear still didn't heal her heart of losing her siblings and almost their entire existence to force. Yes, indeed. While we can have them talk, we have developed their personalities. Me, being the holder of Poseidra, developed his multiple personalities. Like water. It changes every time. Said Tyrell. And there he goes again. Anyways, I hold Zephyr, which made me more carefree and open like the wind. Said Marina, who rolled her eyes. Cool. What are your abilities? Issei asked before finishing his burger. And this is amazing. Atlantean food is the best. Anyways, as I hold Zephyr's cry, I hold the power to control wind. I can make tornadoes, wind slashes, travel at the speed of wind and more. My balance breaker, Zephyr Prime, allows me to essentially become the wind. I'm invulnerable to physical attacks and my control over the wind is dramatically increased. I also gain Zephyr's armor. A chest plate and wings and guards on my legs," said Marina. "Poseidar's trident is what it is. I hold the legendary trident that controls the ocean and water. I can also make water out of thin air. My balance breaker, Poseidar's roar, gives me the armor of Poseidar, which is a deep blue chest plate, leg plates and arm plates. There's spacing which is covered in a black armor like cloth for mobility. Also my trident gets longer, sharper, and more golden, and turns pure sea blue. My control and quality of water also increases," said Tyrell. "So Issei. What about yours?" asked Marina. "Well, my balance breaker is just Cosmic Dragon Balance Breaker. I have a more advanced mode called Cosmic Ascension, and my current strongest but last resort is Ascension mode." "Anyways, why are the gears lost?" asked Issei. "The gears we possess are only given to Atlantean royalty, and given that me and Tyrell are brothers, it made the most sense," Marina replied before giving her check and tip to the waiter. "I shouldn't have you pa," started Issei. "My prince, our 12th Guard platoon has been killed. There's an intruder by Sector 17A," yelled out an Atlantean guard who rushed into the restaurant. "You can repay me later. My brother is giving out orders. He may be socially inept, but he's a brilliant tactician," replied Marina, who, like Issei, was closely paying attention to Tyrell. "Send our advanced platoons to the location. I'll let you there. Tell my father and mother to keep the Tetris coral safe." "Who's this intruder?" asked Tyrell. "He was wearing a black cape and has black armor and used red lightning as seen in the footage from Sector 17A," replied the guard. "Did he in any chance have a red lightsaber?" asked Issei. He was dreading in the fact that it could be what or who he thought it was. "Yes." "How'd you know?" asked the guard suspiciously. "It's a Darth. You can trust me, I'm their mortal enemy as they are forces, well forces," responded Issei, reassuring the three of the Atlanteans that he was on their side. They all nodded, and Tyrell ended the conversation by saying, "Well, let's move out and contain this Darth." They all then moved out to Sector 17A, where flashes of red lightning was seen. They smelled the scent of burned flesh as they approached their first body. There was a battle happening, with the occasional red lightning frying one of the Atlanteans. "Malogo. I'm sorry," said Tyrell. "Your child will be kept safe, and your wife too." "I'm sorry." When he finished, he closed the man's eyes before equipping Poseidar's trident and charging into the fray. Issei and Marina nodded at each other as they equipped their gears and charged in. The guard with them followed suit with his trident. Cosmic Dragon Balance Breaker, Zephyr Prime Balance Breaker, Poseidar's Roar Balance Breaker. There, all three of them, the triplet gears and their balance breakers, charged into the battle. "Argh!" yelled out an Atlantean guard in pain as the being in front of him sliced off his arm, and then his head was gone. "Weak," said Darth Tenebris. "Wind Slash." Darth Tenebris sliced the wind slash with his lightsaber before looking at the attacker. He felt battle-hungry when he saw three beings in armor charge at him. He charged at them too, his saber meeting one of their tridents, his other hand shooting lightning at the girl. But wait, wasn't there a third one? He darted his black eyes to see the being, but it was too late. "Wormhole. Galactic downfall." He heard those words and hit the ground. He looked up and saw his master's nemesis, the Cosmic Dragon Emperor. "My lord has told me about you, Issei Hyoudou," said Darth Tenebris. "I knew it. Who are you and why are you here?" yelled out Issei. Darth Tenebris laughed at this. "I am Darth Tenebris, and I'm here to take the Tetris coral." "What's the Tetris coral?" asked Issei as he had heard Tyrell mention it. "It's the coral entrusted to the Atlanteans during the fall of Atlantis. It controls the Aquarius golems. These golems can defeat many of the strongest gods. Which is why we can't let him get it," said Tyrell, who suddenly yelled, "Now go up!" before shooting himself up. Issei and Marina both flew up before Tyrell yelled out, "Tidal surge," and out come a magic circle which let loose a huge tsunami straight at Darth Tenebris. Darth Tenebris inwardly smiled as he used the force to control the tsunami and send it at the trio and the remaining guards. Tyrell tried to control it, but Darth Tenebrous' use of the Force was way too strong for him as he was struck by his own water. Then he felt insane pain. Red lightning struck up his entire body. Both Issei and Marina were feeling it as well. Given Atlanteans were more susceptible to water as they lived on water, they would be more susceptible to electricity, and in this case lightning. The guards summoned to help were fried. Darth Tenebrous laughed at this as he continued to fry them before stopping. "I'm running out of time. Now back to the mission," he said before instantly disappearing and using his force speed to head to the royal palace. Tyrell and Marina were both still under the affects, and were breathing very heavily from the pain. Issei, who was less affected, was also breathing heavily from the pain, got frustrated as he couldn't use Cosmic Ascension. Say, Darth Tenebrous is one of the chosen Darth. He's one of the top Darths. Now, he's headed towards the royal palace. We have to stop him. Issei nodded and started to head to the royal palace, the tallest building in Atlantis, its golden blue and golden green towers extending up. He felt a hand on his shoulders as he got up. He glanced over and saw Tyrell and Marina get up slowly. "I'm going to stop Darth Tenebrous," said Issei. "And we're helping you. I can't let these guards die in vain. I must avenge them," said Tyrell. "Yes, we may be more affected by the lightning, but we can still fight," said Marina, who was breathing heavily. "And consider you helping us as repayment." Issei chuckled at this. "Well then, let's go." The trio nodded and they started to move to the royal palace. Tyrell was in his aquajet, while Issei and Marina were using their wings. I sense a disturbance in the universe." "Really, Darkin? Really? Haha, anyways. So you must have felt that too?" "Indeed, the siblings of Nebula have united themselves with her. This won't cause much harm. They will be dangerous in the future." "Well, that's something to look forward to." "Indeed. So what were you doing?" "You mean who?" responded Darkin before continuing what he was doing on both Darth Talon and Darth Xana, who were both panting at the treatment of their master. After all, it was only in some moments where Darkin relieves himself of sexual tension, and what better than the Darths in front of him? "Say, Force, should we send another Darth to help Tenebrous?" "I'd say no. Tenebrous was rather gifted at what he did. He predicted when he was going to die, and that day or time isn't now, so he'll be safe. And you probably aren't listening to me." Darkin grunted. "Of course. Well, back to imaging the days of the Empire before Nebula destroyed it." Issei was flying over to the royal palace, and he saw the charred bodies in the ground. Tyrell and Marina were outraged at what had happened to their people. "We'll get this guy. We must," said Issei, causing both the heirs to look at him and nod angrily. "That bastard is gonna die," said Tyrell. "We must avenge these guards. They had families. We're going to kill him," said Marina. Issei nodded at this, and they continued to fly, or in Tyrell's case, swim, to the palace. When they landed, they were met with a scene of more charred bodies and some still alive but being electrocuted. Tyrell and Marina gripped their trident and fists, respectively, harder and continued to follow Issei deeper into the building. After a few minutes of sprinting, they found him. Darth Tenebrous slashed his lightsaber on the last guard, cutting him in half, before breaking the protective prison that held the Tetris coral. And to his left was Tyrell and Marina's parents, still alive but with lightning streaks running across their bodies and twitching with pain. Tyrell gripped his trident and charged into Darth Tenebrous. Hydro collapse. Hydraulic impact. Tyrell sent a cone of water downwards towards Darth Tenebrous, who used the force to counteract it before using his spare hand to electrocute Tyrell's charging form, only for the lightning to be counteracted by Marina's quick reflexes, using her wind to blow the lightning away. This allowed Tyrell to hit Darth Tenebrous with his trident, pushing Tenebrous back. Then, Issei appeared right behind Tenebrous using wormhole, and swung his spear. Cosmic burst. This caused Tenebrous to be shoved forward, and he turned around to try to counter whatever Issei was going to do. Galactic downfall. Lightsaber met Cosmic spear, but Tenebrous was suddenly pushed by the explosion, with Issei pressing his attack. Feeling ecstatic, Tenebrous rushed into defending himself against Tyrell, who kept on swinging his spear, yet to met like how Issei was with Niilus but with Tenebrous. He used the force to lift Tyrell and threw him away only to strike at the wind, stopping Marina's attack. Then in less than a second he sidestepped to dodge Issei's attack. Should I use Cosmic Ascension Nebula? Recommended. Cosmic Ascension. The wave of power pushed Tenebris down and caused Marina to slightly blush before pressing an attack on Tenebris, making him stay down. Tenebris, feeling this, lifted his hands slowly as Marina wasn't strong enough to stop him, and used the force to hold Marina, causing the wind to stop, allowing him to stand up, only to smashed in the stomach by Issei's spear. Oof, said Darth Tenebris before backing up. He was then smashed forward with Tyrell's trident, causing him to fall down. Tenebris inwardly felt good. He was waiting for a half-decent fight. Is that all you got? He said. Nope, Tyrell said before rushing at Darth Tenebris again, not stopping. Perfect, responded Tenebris to the attack. He used the force and stopped the attack and stopped Tyrell dead in his tracks and lifted him up. He also lifted Issei and Marina up before throwing them like rag dolls up and down, hitting the ceiling and the ground, then throwing them to the side left and right. He didn't stop this, and he was laughing while doing this. He then dropped them with such force, causing Marina and Tyrell to break out of their balance breaker armors and making them cough up blood. Issei, are you okay? I'll live. Issei was still his Cosmic Ascension, but he was also coughing up blood. Already done? Tenebris asked. No, yelled out Tyrell, who was struggling to get up. So be it, replied Tenebris before shooting out his lightning at the three. All three were screaming in pain, red lightning coursing through their bodies. This was way more intense. Arg! Yelled out the three. The pain was unbelievable, they hadn't experienced anything like this. Tenebris then stopped his lightning, but the trio were still shaking in pain. Pathetic, I expected something decent, said the Darth before turning around to walk away. Wormhole. Cosmic downfall. Tenebris turned around and lifted his lightsaber to block Issei's attack, only to be confused when Issei wasn't there. Using the force he sensed for Issei's attack and struck up, all in less than 1 second. Blocking Issei's attack and continued to block his continuous attacks, lightsaber met the cosmic spear, not one of them were losing ground. You're not that bad, Issei Hyoudou. However, this is the end, said a Tenebris who disappeared. He can teleport? No, he uses something called force speed. He's the strongest Darth to use this power. Behind you. Issei turned around as fast as he could, but he was too slow. The lightsaber sliced his armor and didn't touch skin. So, your armor can block lightsaber attacks. Issei twisted his spear and swung it at Tenebris, who easily blocked it. When will you ever learn? Said Darth Tenebris, who began to push against the saber. Issei smirked underneath his armor and told Tenebris, behind you. Tenebris suddenly realized and turned around, but he was met with a torrent of water pushing him against a wall. Are you okay? Asked Issei. Yeah, said Tyrell before looking at his sister, but Marina. Don't worry, we got this, reassured Issei, causing Tyrell to nod. How sweet. But now I'm done playing, said Tenebris, who began to take this seriously. Bring it, said Tyrell, causing Tenebris to disappear. Careful. He's really fast, warned Issei. Tyrell nodded and surrounded himself with water and shooting it out. Issei, understanding what Tyrell was doing, used wormhole to avoid the water daggers. Suddenly the water daggers shot out, reversed their direction, and hit Tyrell and Issei. They both fell to the ground and coughed up blood. You two are seriously pathetic, said Tenebris, who appeared in front of Tyrell and used his red lightning on him. Stop! Yelled out Issei, who swung his spear to meet with Tenebris' lightsaber, who stopped his lightning. Give me a challenge at least. Arg! Yelled out Issei, who began to swing his spear faster and stronger, yet it was all met by Tenebris. I suggest you call Azazel, Issei. I can't. He's too fast, and if I stop to use the paper, he'll finish the fight. Tenebris suddenly disappeared and stuck Issei on his side, causing Issei to turn to the side only to be hit in the back. This went on for another minute before Issei's Cosmic Ascension mode broke, making him go back into his balance breaker. Truly pathetic, said Tenebris, who appeared in front of Issei. Well, mission complete anyways. Tried to get stronger, Issei Hyoudou. With what life you have left, try not to disappoint. With that, Tenebris disappeared in a column of light. Damn it! Yelled out Issei in frustration. A third Darth escaped, and what's worse is that he lost by a huge margin to him. Issei, groaned out Tyrell, who tried to get up. Relax, Tyrell. Relax. Try to recover some energy, Issei said. He then looked at Marina, who began to stand up. What happened? She asked. Darth Tenebris escaped. He beat us, said Issei. It's okay. He was stronger than all three of us. We just need to get stronger too, assured Marina, who hugged Issei. Issei returned the hug as well. Princess, are you okay? We were patrolling and heard the sounds, exclaimed a guard who had just entered the palace and ran over to the heirs. We just need a little medical attention, responded Marina. Of course. Medics. We need medics, yelled out the guard. Marina, you don't have to, started Issei. This caused Marina to put her index finger on Issei's lips. Sure, just try to relax, winced out Marina, who wasn't fully recovered from her lightning attack. Issei, still worried about Marina, began to close his eyes from how tired he was after the fight. He fell asleep in Marina's arms, causing her to blush. That's impossible, my sister. In love? Winced out Tyrell, who was still in pain but much less than before. If you weren't in pain, I would end you right now. Princess. The medics are here. 1 week later, again, thanks for the help, Issei responded. The last week was quite eventful, with Issei, Tyrell, and Marina all spending the week in the hospital. Tenebris red lightning somehow weakened the healing process. However, on the second last day, Marina and Tyrell left to see their parents and the Atlantean Council about the attack. It was Issei's last day that they came back. It's no problem, said Marina. Just sorry we can't let you experience the full of Atlantis. Don't worry about it, I'm sure I'll be back some other day. For now I have to return to the Grigori and report this and continue to train. Tyrell and Marina then looked at each other and nodded. What's happening? Asked Issei. We're coming with you, said Tyrell. Wait, what? Why? Asked Issei. Aren't you guys the heirs of Atlantis? The council and our parents can take care of Atlantis while we are gone after all. We aren't the rulers yet. And we need to train and get stronger. We can't let any more pain to be caused by the Darths. We have to defeat them in force, said Marina. Wait, how do you know about force? Nebula talked with us after you fell asleep, in her arms, might I add. Cut off Tyrell, causing Marina to smack him. Another one? Indeed. And sorry for not responding, the red lightning somehow cut off our communications, said Anakin. Oh hush, the red lightning was different after all. Anyways, it seems your harem is growing by the day. Issei inwardly rolled his eyes, causing both Anakin and Obi-Wan to laugh. Issei then stopped the friendly banter between Marina and Tyrell. Anyways, our gears are sibling gears. We're stronger if we stick together and train together, said Marina before continuing. We have to stop Force and the Darths from hurting others. Issei nodded at this and asked them one more time if they wanted to come with him. This was met by the heirs both saying yes with determination. Fine, let's go to the Grigori then. Issei summoned a magic circle and walked in, causing both the heirs to nod at each other before following Issei. At the Grigori, Issei, my boy. How was Atlantis? Asked Azazel, who was excited. Rainier was next to Azazel and rushed to hug Issei. Other than getting attacked by a Darth, fun, said Issei. Wait, what? Why didn't you call me? We have guests, exclaimed Issei, trying to avoid the question. You better answer soon. But who are the guests? Asked Azazel. I am Prince Tyrell of Atlantis, said Tyrell, who walked out of the magic circle in perfect timing. I'm Princess Marina of Atlantis, said Marina before bowing at Azazel. She then looked at Rainier, who in turn smirked at Marina, causing Marina to look mad. Tyrell and Azazel looked at each other and both said, another one? Before laughing. Issei, who was still being hugged, asked Rainier to get off of him for a second. She complied, and when she let go of Issei, he slowly got up and went to Azazel. Azazel, we have sibling gears. Tyrell holds Nebula's brother, Poseidra, and his gear is Poseidra's trident. Marina holds Nebula's sister, Zephyr, and her gear is Zephyr's cry. When giving Azazel the information, Azazel was very intrigued at the information given, saying how he never heard of the gears. The gears are technically lost as they are inherited by the heirs of Atlantis, said Tyrell, causing Azazel to get interested. Azazel, can I show them to their rooms? Yes, sure, go ahead, Issei. Also, can I borrow them later? I want to learn more about their gears. Issei nodded at this and asked Tyrell to follow him, and for Marina, he dragged out as she was in a staring contest with Rainier. Few moments later, they were walking along the Grigori. He then introduced their rooms to Tyrell and Marina. Their rooms were next to each other, and in front of Issei's. The rooms were also large, with a king-size bed and other extremities in it. Thanks, Issei. I hope we get closer, said Marina, who blushed at the last part. I'll see you later, Issei. Thanks for letting us stay, said Tyrell, thanking Issei for his help. It's no problem, now let's get some rest. I'll get you guys to Azazel and then we can start our training. We can of course hang out afterwards, said Issei, causing the heirs to grin and say goodbye to Issei before going to their respective rooms and settling in. Issei then went to his room and laid on his bed, tired. Nebula, why are there Darths everywhere I go? I have no clue, it might just be coincidence, said Nebula, who was also concerned and confused as Issei every time he decided to go somewhere met a Darth and had to fight. How strong are the Darths anyways? It depends, some are on Azazel's level. The majority are stronger or on par on many of the major gods. The rest, like Tenebris, Nihilus, and Bane, are the strongest ones, on par with someone like in the top 15 and or in top 10 strongest in the world, said Obi-Wan. Just remember, they can't be taken lightly, said Anakin. We need to intensify training. With what time you have and what you want to complete, training will be much harder. If you ever want to defeat this Force user before you die, we need to get much stronger. I agree, now let's rest for today and begin tomorrow. All three beings in his head nodded and disappeared and left Issei to his devices. Issei sighed at how his life was going to be like before going to sleep for a little bit. Yet he didn't know how hard his life was going to be. Excellent work, Darth Tenebris, said Darkin, congratulating his subordinate for a job well done. We now have the Tetris Coral. You are dismissed. Rest for now, Darth Tenebris. Yes, my lord, Darth Tenebris said before disappearing. So, now time for the demonic soul and lost horn, said Darkin. Yes, the power to control the lost demons and the power to control the Yetis. Who are you sending? Maybe Darth Sidious to the Devils for the soul and Darth Plagueis to Russia to find the horn. Good idea. Summon Darth Sidious and Darth Plagueis. My lord, said the two Darths, who appeared instantly in smoke, bowing before Darkin. Darth Sidious, I need you to disguise yourself as a devil and infiltrate the underworld. Become one of their leaders and betray them in due time. Make sure to obtain the demonic soul, Darkin told Darth Sidious, causing the latter to bow and disappear. Darkin then looked at Darth Plagueis. Darth Plagueis, go to Russia and find the lost horn. Obtain it and send it back to me. At once, my lord, said the second Darth before disappearing. So, what are you planning, Darhin? I'll tell you when they aren't reading. Who? Don't worry about it, said Darkin before laughing. In the underworld asterisk, help, said a young man, causing multiple devils to approach him and ask him what's happening. I was attacked by something, said the man. By what? Who are you? Said a devil. I am Sheev Palpatine and I'm a devil like you guys, said Sheev before revealing his 10 wings. End of the part 1. So how was this story? I hope you like it. And if you like it, share this story with your friends, and like the video too. And don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily awesome fanfiction. Okay, it's time for me to go. Bye bye.